This is a deeply personal and emotional episode for us. One that was not that easy to film, but we decided it's time. And this is a story about hope, about courage, and about pursuit of something bigger than ourselves. For the past 2.5 years, our mission was very clear and simple in words, but deeply ambitious in action. To support people through some of their most difficult and isolating times of their lives. And it has not been easy. But together with Kseniia and our team and the community, we walked this path. We built a team of professionals who really believed in our idea together with us and were working to create and build this into a reality. And in this episode, we'll walk you through all the Berlin-based programs we were part of, what they gave us, what they lacked, what they provided as a bullshit in their promises. And today, with a mix of sadness but also optimism, we're here to share that we're officially bringing our startup journey to a close. So this episode of Startup Sluts is the last chapter of mexb.ai. But it's not just an ending for us, it's a pause to reflect together about our journey, what we did good, where we fucked it up, and you will hear the story of Kseniia and Meri and mexb.ai in 2 chapters, when each chapter is shaped by the resilience, experience, and the biggest milestone of our journey. So, welcome to our story.
Welcome to Startup Sluts, where we keep it real. No sugar-coated stories, just the raw deal.
Thank you, Mary. It's a really great and very warm introduction, I think. And as you mentioned, we have decided to present to you our story in chapters. And very first chapter, we decided to name From War to Code, the birth of mexb.ai. The idea of mexb.ai was born in the shadow of a war, because on the 24th of February 2022 at 5 a.m. I received a message from my mother in Ukraine that Russia began the war against Ukraine. And during this period of time, I have decided I need to do something somehow to support Ukrainians, because the flow of Ukrainian refugees in here in Berlin was insane. So I volunteered as a translator and language mediator in a psychologist and gynecologist office. And there I have identified the gap which exists in mental health domain in Germany, and later we have understood actually overall in the world. The problem is that the gap between the first appointment with a psychologist and the first contact with a psychologist and the first appointment is around 140 days. It means that the number of people who are looking for mental health support is insane, but the number of professionals who might help is not enough. It's not sufficient. And back then, I was finishing my master program, and my master program is social science with a focus in machine learning. It meant that I can create an AI solution or an AI application for people who were needed it. It was like my idea that maybe I can use this knowledge to help people. And back then, there was no ChatGPT hype yet, and I have thought, okay, what can I do? I have found the data where people are asking for mental health support and professionals are answering their questions, and I have scraped this data and I have fine-tuned GPT-2 actually with this data. And the result was very mixed, because the answers were often off, sometimes even rude, but it was a start, it was my first steps, and it was clear that it works, that I can create an AI companion in mental health domain to support first and predominantly Ukrainian refugees. And here We are on our chapter 2 already, and the name is The Midnight Call, Find My Co-Founder. Okay, after my first experiment with GPT-2, of course I was still unsure, because okay, the idea is here. I has volunteered, I think, around 1.5 years, and I saw very often, not every day I did it, but like 2 times or 1 time per week for 100%. I saw these people who are struggling, who need help, and I was sitting at home like, oh, I have this idea with my AI chatbot, with my AI companion, but I was very unsure what to do because I didn't have any experience in business, and it was not my plan to do a business, to be honest. And then accidentally I came across a program launched by Kseniia. They did a program, Kseniia Startups. The idea was to support Ukrainians here in Berlin who want to start their entrepreneurial journey. To be honest, it felt like a sign. I was like, okay, what can I do then with them, or something like this? Sounds very interesting. I have a call with them, and I have asked questions, what exactly they offer, and the program, and blah, blah, blah. And I have also asked, hey, maybe I can be like a solo founder because I don't know anyone with whom I can create a startup. And they were like, no, you need a co-founder, it's very hard to do startups, being a solo founder. And I was like, okay, but what can I do? What can I do? With whom can I work together? And then also accidentally, actually, I came across like Meri, because we actually are friends, and we were friends. And I was like, okay, actually, she also has experience when someone like Russia annexing the territories of home country, because Meri is from Georgia, and Russia annexed parts of Georgia in 2008. And she has actually studied psychology also in Georgia, and right now in Berlin she's studying, or has finished actually, communication studies. And I was like, hey, actually it works, it sounds great for me, you know. So I was like, okay. And it was of course late night, because everything is happening in the night. And I was like, okay, I had text her like, hey, may I call you? And she was like, yes, you can call me. And I have called her, I have presented her the idea of the product, the idea of what we can do, and she was like, absolutely immediate answered, yes. And I was like, yes, cool, oh my god. And so, to be honest, it was that night, with one phone call, and it was when mexb.ai has become like the reality, not only the idea in my head. And of course we have applied together to the Kseniia Startups program, and just like that, our journey had officially begun.
Yeah, I remember that night like very well. First of all, for me it also kind of felt like a sign, because I was finishing my master's too, and it was this like, I want to do something meaningful, something that makes sense, but I don't know what. So it was kind of like stars aligned in every direction, and I'm really thankful that you thought about me to start this not the easiest journey of our lives together. And yeah, with Kseniia, I think that one program that really stood out of all that we've been part of, and we're gonna go through them later in the episode. And it gave us something really practical. So mexb.ai turned from the vague idea of like mental health startup into a real working concept. And we received the honest feedback, the real people who had experience with startups. We started asking the right questions, answering the right questions. For example, can AI even be used in mental health space? Like, is that even possible to combine responsibly? And that's how we came to talking about ethics and boundaries and design choices, something it's all of was very new for us. But we had to face a real truth in that moment, that none of us were developers. We did not have a developer in the team. So what was the next step?
Yes.
It was to we can't build an app, but we can use an existing app to test our ideas too. So that's how we came to Telegram. One of the reasons was that Ukrainians already widely used Telegram, so they knew it. It was not something completely new for them.
Yeah, and my knowledge in Python, it was enough and sufficient to create an AI chatbot on Telegram.
Yeah, so that's how our first AI-powered mental health companion came to life on Telegram. And then one of the biggest things happened, I think, and it was ChatGPT kind of arrived with its full force. And that moment was one of the defining ones, because it became clear that not only can AI be used for mental health stuff, but it's almost inevitable in the modern world. So that was a kind of push we also needed in that moment. So in our first 6 months with Fineo, we learned how to build a startup from scratch, launched our Telegram-based AI companion for Ukrainian refugees predominantly, but we also offered other languages. So English speakers, German speakers, they could also use it. Yeah. And what was important, we collected a lot of feedback from our users and tested it in real use cases. But biggest challenge with Fineo was that Fineo Startups was an impact-oriented program. So less about the scaling your business. And to be honest, there are impact investors, but everyone needs a business model. Everyone needs to see how it can bring revenue back. And mental health products rarely go into that category, because they are either too niche, not niche enough, and viable through public funding.
Yes.
And that's if you go back to the existing mental health startups, not only not AI, just mental health startups, you will see that most of them are financed by public,
state. Yes. Yeah.
Public funding. That was kind of where we were struggling is that moment. And of course also our mindset was a little bit naive and not experienced, thinking that we need a perfect product to launch, because we can't lose the trust of our users. It's like there is no coming back from that. That's really bullshit.
And to be honest, sorry for interrupting, we were also advised that it is so important that you create a great product first in mental health domain, and I absolutely agree still that it's a bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, it's important that's the goal, to create something perfect, but you need to learn. And if you don't go to real world with your product, you won't learn. So that was a big setback, I think, for us.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you, absolutely. Yes, at this moment, we have understood is what we actually need. First and foremost, we need more business mindset. We need money. And very important, we need program which can support us and which concentrated on AI products, on AI solutions. And this way, we have started looking for something like that, and we have found Kids Bridge to Market program, and they were also at the very beginning of this program. I think we were just the third or second startup who has joined the program Kids Bridge to Market.
So that's how we now land into the next chapter of our journey. Kids, the first real push. There is a lot of good things about kids that we can talk about, and as Ksenia mentioned, there were criteria that were important for us in that moment. And to be honest, one of the biggest ones was the stipend, because it gave us more than money. It gave us a breathing room. It was really the first time that we could invest not only our very valuable time in startup, but also a little bit money. So we used their funds and their stipend for a few things. First of all was we started working on our MVP of the app. We paid the lawyers because you have to. to navigate all the legal stuff between AI and mental health. We covered our first UX UI design phase, and we also started working with our first IT developer, IT specialist. And yeah, I think it was more than that support. Kids gave us a real momentum in that moment. But as Ksenia mentioned, we were one of the first, and that created a lot of frustrating gaps, and one of the biggest ones for us. And until today, I'm like, every time I'm in that building, I kind of get the
sadness, to be honest.
Yeah, back this like frustration and sadness. But the biggest one was that we did not get a co-working space in AI campus. And if you know...
Yes, because kids, they are sitting in this campus, actually, yeah? Why we are...
Yeah, so when we were also applying and went first there, we were like already looking for spaces where we can sit and work and how nice it would be. But it's not about the working space, that's not the issue. It's about the fact that AI campus is more of a hub. And a lot of big players in AI space in Berlin are sitting there, for example, Merantix. And we could already picture this like, oh, we are drinking coffee, making the most meaningful connections that are life-changing for us and our startup. But no, that did not happen. Instead of that, we were sent to the co-working space in the university, because kids also works together with universities. And yeah, we were sitting there with poor internet and no heating. It was really a disappointing moment for us, and plus that meant that with the university we had to go to the classes, which in theory it's a good thing because you are learning a lot, but in our case we were also a little bit further in the process, and it meant that we had to take our time from all this legal stuff, all the design stuff, developing our AI model, and sit in the classes, which like really was waste of time in my opinion.
Yeah, some were useful, but a lot of them were also for very early stage startups, and because of Kseniia we were more advanced.
The good thing also that happened with kids for us was that we starting our first team interviews. So we transitioned from two co-founders with an idea into a full functioning team with other people.
Yeah. To sum up, like first summarization, what we have done, because at this moment we actually achieved a lot already, to be honest, because we have already Telegram AI chatbot with different features. It was AI, it was some non-AI features like diary, mood logs, even more. We have created community function. It meant that other users, anonymously of course, might ask for support from people, yeah. And we didn't have any direct conversations with investors yet, but we were in the process to develop our network, to talk with people, to ask them what do they think about the product and the idea. And even more, we were already featured in a couple of German newspapers about our product, how we help Ukrainian refugees. And during this period of time, we also have started more and more actively working on our network.
Yeah, that was a big part of that milestone. And one thing became very clear from all of this working with Ukrainian refugees, using Telegram, that Telegram was very limiting. It was limiting in the user experience. It was not not intuitive enough, and it did not provide the security that we needed.
Yes, and also we have conducted already direct interviews with users, like qualitative interviews and also quantitative interviews, and we have found out that nevertheless Ukrainians are really in need to have the solution. they do not have the readiness to pay money, because either they don't have this money, what is clear, or they don't have this mindset that you need to pay money for solutions for your health. To be honest, the same problem is with Germans. But at that moment, because Ukrainians were our main customers, it was like, okay, what we can do, what any other paths we can choose. So we have thought that, okay, we have two paths in front of us actually. B2B, it means that we work with companies who might offer our application as mental health support for their employees, like this employee benefits. Or B2G, it means to partner with health insurances to offer our product as a reimbursed mental health tool. We have decided to start with B2B because we have heard that with health insurances it's hard to work. So I think hundreds of emails Mary had sent into different companies, different HRs, and take into your mind that first we have invested a huge amount of time to find these companies. The problem was that cold call emails, it's really not the best way to connect with people. But another problem was that actually there are not so many companies who has this willingness and readiness to invest into those type of employee benefits, because as a rule people were like, oh, here is a fitness studio, you can go, I am ready to pay for you this 20 euros per month for fitness studio, but not mental health solutions. So companies either have already this another applications which I offer as an employee benefit program, or they don't have budget, because as we know right now and back then, or to be more precisely since the start of the war in Ukraine, the economical situation didn't get better, to be honest, so they don't have budget for it. So we didn't have any chance, but we need to shift towards the German health care system. And at this moment, our partners at Fineo, they have helped us, they have connected us with the people from one of the biggest health insurance in Germany. And actually we were very impressed, but they were like, yeah, okay, let's jump into the call, you can present for us your solution. And it was like, oh, cool. And we have started, of course, this journey to present to them our solution and so on and so on. First and foremost, I would like to mention that startup world is an English language, yes, and health insurances in Germany are in German language. It meant that we need to create everything in German language. It took also some time to do it. Then we did have like a lot of calls with different people, and all these different people asked different questions and said, oh, it sounds great, please send us this and this PDF file. And like every time we need also to work on new and new documents, which we will send them the next day or 2 days later. And because each and every time it came new questions or they ask new details, we need to deliver them. So it took like a couple of months, because it was like call, presentation, another call.
Yeah, it definitely took I think we had the most amount of calls with them out of like everyone together.
Yeah, for sure. And the main idea was that we want to start with them a pilot study where we will test our product, and in case if it shows that it helps people, we can start to talk about any how we can work together. And we were very excited about all this process, and that yeah, we trust in ourselves, we trust in our product, everything will be fine. And then that I'm like, yes, it sounds cool, let's do this pilot study. We were like, yes, we did it. And it was, I think, the biggest disappointment in the whole startup journey, because 2 weeks later they pulled out. And just like that, they just sent us an email and like, no pilot study together. Later we have connected with another health insurance, and it is a small one, and it is very cool because we have connected directly with the head of this health insurance, and he has explained us that he was impressed that they have told us yes, because actually in Germany health insurances are not allowed to work with applications which are not on the DIGA list. So at the very beginning, it was clear that actually they are not allowed to work with us.
Yeah, I think it was the biggest disappointment because it was also something that could have been the biggest push for us in that moment, because as Ksenia said, we were like shifting from one to another. B2B did not work, B2C, no one wanted to give money for that, and we were like in this, but what does make sense then, what works? And it was like a few days of us thinking, oh, finally we found it out, but yeah, we did not. But we made then this full circle of our business models, and we came back to B2C.
Yeah.
And we came also to the next chapter of our journey, which we call Growing Pains, Marketing Misses, and Team Lessons. And while our Telegram AI companion was already working, having our users, we stopped the outreach to Ukrainian users, and we decided to shift to German market. Ksenia already named few reasons, also because that was something that was questioned so much in like everywhere. So we were like, okay, we need to find somewhere that can come income. Maybe the Germans are more ready to pay, even though they are not. No one here also likes to pay for health stuff.
Yeah, and also we were told very often that German investors invest in companies like business angels, yes, in companies which work with German users predominantly, if we are talking about such a very early stage startup.
Yeah, so that's why we began to experiment with our marketing campaigns and strategies. We tried different stuff to reach the German target group. None of that landed. And at the end, what we had was we were stuck in between. So we had users, we have Ukrainian users that need app, are using the product, but don't or can't pay, and we have Germans who theoretically have more resources to pay for it, but don't want to, are not used to it, and plus we can't reach them. And meanwhile, while all of this was happening, and we were again in this like, oh, B2C, maybe it's also again not working, there was something always in our ear from every mentor, every investor: you need a psychologist in your team. Itself, the advice is not that bad. The bad part is following it blindly, because not everyone understands the stage you are in as a startup. In our stage, what we needed was a psychologist as an advisor who could help us out, check in occasionally, provide insights. Instead, what we did was we onboarded someone in the team without having enough psychology-related task for them, which led then into a lot of misalignment, confusion, frustration, and at the same time we as very newbie managers had biggest misconception that everyone is a professional. So you don't need to give them exact tasks. Everyone knows what to do. We can trust them. Bullshit. Total bullshit. And it's wrong. It's wrong toward the employees too. It's wrong toward your business itself. So we actually recorded a full episode on that topic. It's first episode in our podcast. It's how to fuck up half of your budget on a dysfunctional team. We will link it down below, and I highly recommend watching it. With that together, like not having a clear defined roles for the team members, we also had a major challenge, and that was building an actual mobile application. And even though our first AI model that Kseniia worked so hard on was already ready, we could not test it in the app. And that's where we also started working with our first IT specialist. It was someone who really believed in our idea. We had a feeling that he really wanted to help us because he also started working with us. It's like the like really low prices that are not the market prices for that services. Instead of managing him in a right way, with clear expectations and accountability, we let our gratitude get in the way. And like everything went wrong in a sense that deadlines slipped, the quality dropped, nothing was delivered, and what we were saying to each other, like, oh, but he's helping us, they are helping us, we should be just thankful. No, no startup is built on politeness, no business thrives with gratitude feelings. People, you as a manager, your team needs very like clear priorities and communication and accountability
and deadlines.
And deadlines that you then ask them, like, we had deadlines, but they were like, okay, we move it for another week, we move it for another month, and yeah, at the end we did not have anything. But good news there for us also, we learned from that a lot, and the next time we were working with a team, and we were working with a pretty big team of UX designers and researchers, we really made it all work. It was very clearly communicated. We had a system, we had weekly calls. It was such a nice experience that delivered the results.
Yes, absolutely. And take in your mind that working with volunteers, because they were volunteers, is very hard, because people as a rule very quick drop off, and they was like a core team of 5 people with who was working with us like during the last 6 months, I think, or something like this. So it's obviously a sign that we have learned from our mistakes.
Yeah, and if we can give you there something to our listeners is, you don't be like, you need a middle. You can't be micro-manager, and you can't be this, oh, we trust everything that is happening. You can trust people, you should trust people, but they also need to understand, they need the clear tasks. Clear expectations, more structure, better communication, and it's going to be a big step for the success.
We came to the next chapter with the name The Final Push, Last Program, Lost Energy. And yes, we have joined our very last program, and the deal was with this program. Why we have decided to join it? Because we have understood that, okay, we need to do B2C in mental health domain in Germany. We need someone who can support us with this market, who has deep understanding of health domain in Germany. And this program, they have such a cool advertisement of themselves, because they're like promising that they will help to connect with investors, they will help to brush your idea, your product, and to bring it to investors, or they can help us to figure out the next steps, what we need to do. But generally speaking, to sum up, like investor search, the advertisements, that program itself is great, were like the main reason why we have decided to join it. And there are some advantages in this program, but mostly for us it's one more disadvantages, to be honest, because first and foremost, the biggest problem from my point of view is that this program has gathered together a group of different startups. Some of them were at a very early stage, like just with an idea. Others were building already an MVP or a prototype. In our case, we have already our users, and we have conducted already interviews, and like we were on a more advanced stage. But the problem was that workshops were designed predominantly for people who just starting What is very logical, yeah? But for us, it was very repetitive and not tailored for our necessities. The problem was that we were forced to attend each and every workshop, and to be honest, it felt like I'm in a Soviet Union school. Some totalitarian regime tries to force me to do what they want and not what I need. So at this moment, the atmosphere for me was off. The problem was also that I have the feeling, or I got the feeling, that they tried to create the competitive atmosphere, and not just between startups, but inside of startups, between founders, for example, because in some situations they were like, okay, we have just one ticket for this event, you should go. Like, hey, it's our startup, we make decision who will go. Or, for example, at this event you pitch. Hey, the same problem. We are the startup, we are co-founders, and we know best what we want to do and who will pitch, okay? So, last but not least, of course, false promises in the case of networking, because honestly, it wasn't delivered such a huge network with very cool and interesting business angels, and it was very disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that the mentorship that we needed in the medical space was also from people that really doubted our idea. And people can't mentor you if they don't the majority of time I had a feeling that the answer was, yeah, don't do it.
Yes, and I think some mentors, not everyone, because some of them were really cool, and I think they are very great people and their knowledge are really valuable, but some gave me the feeling also that, okay, it's an easy money I can earn. I do a presentation, I see it 1 hour with each team, and I will earn a couple of €100, and it's not so hard, That is why they were not really into your idea, into your startup, and they didn't want really to support you and to deliver the knowledge.
Yeah, and that's how during this program and more to an end of this program, but not only because of the program, we came to the next chapter in our journey, the moment we knew. And we really kept pushing through a lot in these 2.5 years. There were, of course, the moments where we were doubting if it will work, if it makes sense, if it's really something people need. But we kept pushing because it was something really personal for us, really important. And still the feedback was from people that they needed it. And even though when these things were tough, next day we were like, yes, we continue. mexb.ai continues. But really when the understanding came that maybe we were going to the ending of this journey was when our first fundraising round failed. It was a very sobering experience and also very frustrating. We were, as Ksenia said in the program, already dealing with a lot, and we kind of needed a little hope from some side, but we did not get it. And we were ready to pitch. We had pitch decks. We practiced. We were confident, and we had a lot that we created in this time. Hundreds of users, hundreds of Ukrainian users on the Telegram, and strong feedback, working AI model. But that was not enough for German investors. It meant almost nothing for them because the main reasons: we did not have paid users in Germany. We had no app. It was in the MVP version of MVP 2. Who knows what. And again, one of the biggest ones, we did not have a psychologist as a co-founder. So now it's not about having psychologist as a team member, it's about having psychologist as a founding team member. But yeah, we quickly realized in that moment that so many people oversell themselves and what they can do. They call themselves these connectors. In reality, nothing, no connections with angel investors. Yeah, VCs are not as hard to reach yourself. They kind of are waiting for you to pitch them.
Yeah, they have events, they have emails on their website, so it's really easier to reach them than business angels, for sure.
Yeah, but then there comes the moment where you as a founder need to also understand, are you a VC case in that moment or not? We have another episode, full episode about business angels and VCs in Berlin ecosystem, which is very helpful insights. So we will link that one also down below. Nothing came, no connections, no talks with angel investors from that connectors. Everyone that we talked to as an angel investor was someone we kind of reached out ourselves, which was the most time-consuming parts of this process. Cold emails, some of them worked, some of them did not, direct intros, and we were at so many events present that we were like looking with a magnifying glass for business angels, which they don't write anywhere where, hey, I am a business angel, I have money. That's not happening. And that's also where we learned that networking is a full-time job, and at that point we were having so many full-time jobs that it was hard to manage.
Yeah, and also there are extremely two important moments in our journey at that period of time. It existed a huge pressure on us because Mary is a migrant, and if she didn't have a sufficient job, a sufficient amount of money, Germany may not give her visa to stay here. And another moment was that I was deeply pregnant. And it's also a very interesting story for another podcast, why we took it in secret. And I truly believe that to the very delivery, no one knew that I was pregnant. I was like getting a little bit big, more oversized clothing, but no one knew that I was pregnant. But yes, and the last chapter of our story is letting go. There wasn't one dramatic ending, to be honest. It was slow, and as I mentioned, because we have other problems and other situations in our lives, like thinking about visa, preparing for a baby,
another full-time job
job I didn't know about. But yes, first, after the program was finished, we were like, okay, we need to have a pause because we were so drained emotionally and physically. To be honest, I think program drained me more than my pregnancy. And we did a vacation, and then we get back to work further. Of course, it was not so much time, not so many time we invested into it, because as I mentioned, Mary need to start looking for a job. I was preparing actively to deliver the baby, and like this way, step by step, we have stopped working on mexb.ai. And lately, a couple of months ago, I have visited an event, and I was presenting myself as an ex-co-founder, and someone has asked me, oh, your idea is so cool, maybe you can come back to this startup later when your maternity leave you will finish your maternity leave. But I understand that we did so much, we have worked so hard on our startup, we delivered great results, to be honest, during the last 2.5 years. But especially in mental health and AI, you can't pause. Like, technology moves so fast, user trust is so fragile, and to be honest, the momentum dies quickly. And the momentum of our idea, of our startup, has died, from my perspective. That is why, yes, we had a vision, we had empathy. I truly believe till today that our idea is great and it can work, but I don't believe that we need to back to this idea like we are.
Yeah, and I truly believe that when one door closes, another opens, and yeah, we don't know which door that will be for us next, but I am sure it will be something, because I don't see it as a failure. It taught us so much, and it defined it gave me the purpose in that moment, and it was the biggest thing that I needed. Yeah, you don't learn this much from being safe.
Yes, for sure. It's like, as I mentioned, both of us have like more purpose-driven backgrounds, social science, political science, communication, and now this experience as a founder gave us exactly what we want to do, like what steps we need to take in our professions to develop new, more interesting ways for us. And everyone who is thinking maybe, oh, should I start a startup? I think yes, you need, because it's really a great experience. It makes you stronger as a professional, as a migrant, as a human being, and even as a woman, to be honest, because being a female founder is, I would say, it has its specialities.
Yeah, it adds another layer of overall toughness of being a founder. But yeah, anyways, to sum it all up, in these 2.5 years, we did a lot. First of all, I feel that we already helped some people, which is the biggest thing for us. That's how the idea started. That was the main thing in our head at the beginning, and we proved that it's doable. Someone with more resources and team members and money maybe will do it in this domain, but we're gonna start thinking about the next ideas and how we can use our knowledge. We had a team. We learned so much there to now knowing how to be a good manager, at least how to not be a bad manager. The rest is all the learning process. And yeah, we are not saying not to go to any programs or not to go to events. Of course, it's all draining, it's a lot, but I would suggest to dedicate a lot of time to really understand what it's gonna bring you, and how you can, like that the programs don't take from you more than they give you, and it's a very big thing to say. We can't say that don't go, because some of them give you money and it's the only way to exist.
And it's privilege to say no, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really a privileged thing, because not everyone can bootstrap for years. I really don't know a lot of people who can do that. But anyways, thank you, Kseniia, a lot for inviting me to this journey together with you. It was a really meaningful and life-changing 2.5 years for me, and I'm sure we're gonna create something as amazing as we were planning in the future.
Yes, I agree with you, and I'm also very thankful that you have at midnight you told me your yes.
And yeah, thank you, our listeners, for joining in this episode. It might be an end of mexb.ai, but we have a lot more to tell you. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share your stories in the comments, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Your startup slots.